Step into my ring, you gorgeous legends. Today, we're talking about dominance, chaos, and what happens when a company accidentally creates a monster they can't contain. This isn't about someone who got lucky with a title. This is about a reign, a warpath, a savage king who didn't just carry MLW. He was MLW. Jacob Fatu's 819-day reign as World Heavyweight Champion wasn't just historic. It was a warning to the entire wrestling world. No machine, no pipeline, no corporate push, just raw talent before WWE got their hands on him, before Bloodline buzz or Paul Heyman's approval. Jacob Fatu was out here building a legacy in the shadows. And trust me, this legacy is louder than most title reigns you've ever seen in the mainstream world. Let's break it down because, baby, this wasn't just a title run. This was domination in its most dangerous form. No one saw the werewolf coming. Not the fans, not the roster, not even the company that signed him. Jacob Fatu wasn't supposed to be the face of MLW. He wasn't groomed for it. He wasn't molded for it. He wasn't handed a pretty little push with polished promos and designer suits. Nah. He kicked the damn door open with smoke, fire, and chaos behind him. Fatu made his MLW debut in 2019, and from the second he aligned with the CONTRA Unit, it was game over for the peaceful days of MLW. Let's get it clear on the CONTRA Unit. This wasn't your typical stable. You had Joseph Samael, the mastermind. That voice. Woo! Calm, calculated, dangerous. He didn't need to scream. He spoke like a man who already knew the outcome. When Joseph talked, it felt like a warning wrapped in a scripture. Then you had Simon Gawjus, the fighter with no frills. No flash, no flair, just straight up violence. He brought legitimacy, that underground, bare knuckle grit. He made it feel like CONTRA wasn't just invading MLW, they were purging it. Also, Akira Kwan, mysterious, fast, unpredictable. He didn't come to wrestle, he came to injure. Martial arts precision with a horror movie presence. He moved like a ghost, but every strike left a bruise. Each man served a purpose. They weren't friends, they were soldiers. And once the Samoan werewolf joined the squad, that's when the real terror began. Because CONTRA wasn't just about brute force, it was disruption. They hijacked broadcasts, glitched out camera feeds, attacked interviewers mid-segment. They'd black out the arena before their music even hit. And when those sirens went off, you knew somebody was about to bleed. And always at the center of the craziness was Fatu. With the bloodline in his veins, the fire in his chest, the pain in his past, you could see all of it every time he hit the ring. This man was so explosive. Fatu quickly destroyed Tom Lawler to become MLW World Heavyweight Champion. Destroyed. Not out-wrestled, not outmaneuvered, destroyed. It's like he was sent from the future to erase whatever plans MLW thought they had. That night, the crowd didn't just witness a title change, they witnessed a shift. A cosmic, violent shift in power. Because after Jacob Fatu won that belt, he didn't hold it like a prize. He wore it like a warning. Every match felt like a message. Every promo felt like a threat. And every single week, CONTRA made sure the kingdom stayed intact. Jacob Fatu was untouchable. This wasn't just the rise of a star. This was the rise of a whole new world order. And baby, MLW would never be the same. From July 6th, 2019 to October 2nd, 2021, Jacob Fatu held the World Heavyweight Championship for 819 days. Let that number sink in. Not because it's impressive, but because that's suffocating. For nearly 3 years, MLW didn't have a champion. It had a dictator. And the fans, they weren't watching to see who might win. They were watching to see how bad the next person would lose. This wasn't a reign where the belt elevated the wrestler. Here, the wrestler elevated the belt. From Tom Lawler to Matt Cross, from Davey Boy Smith Jr. to ACH, from LA Park to Jordan Oliver, one by one, MLW threw everything it had at Jacob Fatu. And every time, the outcome was the same. Week after week, MLW's main events became less about competition and more about damage control. Even commentary started to sound like a government press briefing. How do you stop them? Who's left? Is anyone even willing to try? And the longer the reign stretched, the more hopeless the entire division began to feel. New challengers would debut with fire. They'd cut passionate promos, talk about legacy, honor, gold. But once that bell rang, all of that washed away. Even the monsters have shadows chasing them. And while Jacob Fatu was steamrolling MLW like a force of nature, somewhere behind the chaos, Alexander Hammerstone was rising. Not with fire and smoke, not with hijackings or ambushes, but with discipline, with work ethic. Hammerstone also wasn't supposed to be the hero of this story. When he first showed up in MLW, he looked like just another gym rat. You know, dude with a spray tan and a flex, you know the type. Pretty boy, muscles, Instagram abs, maybe a mid-card run and a protein shake sponsorship. But baby, he proved us all wrong. Because behind the glam, behind the bleach blonde arrogance was a real one. Hammerstone was a workhorse, a grinder, a future champion just hiding. While Fatu was collecting bones as the world champ, Hammerstone was quietly building a streak of his own. Defending the MLW National Openweight Championship with intensity and consistency, he wasn't just winning, he was dominating, but in a different way. So like, Fatu crushed you with chaos, Hammerstone crushed you with control. If Fatu is wild instinct, Hammerstone is a calm execution. He was the counterbalance. And fans started to notice. Every defense made him look more legit. Every promo added layers behind the muscle. You could see it in his eyes. This was about climbing up the mountain and slaying the werewolf at the top. Now, at first, it felt like a fantasy. Fatu was untouchable. They teased it for months. Little stares, backstage tension, you could feel it brewing. Hammerstone won the Battle Riot, securing his title shot, and that's when the story shifted. Because now, he wasn't just chasing the title, he was chasing history. And Fatu knew what was up. This wasn't just another challenger, this was a real one. But MLW didn't rush it. They held it, they built it, they let it breathe. And then an injury happened. Hammerstone got taken out. Momentum stalled. And for a moment, it felt like maybe this match would never happen. It was all just a tease. But Hammerstone came back, and when he did, he came back harder, meaner, stronger, hungrier. It almost felt biblical. 2 championships, 2 streaks, 2 different paths. 1 reign would end. Fatu didn't just want to beat Hammerstone. He wanted to break him before the bell even rang. Because in Fatu's world, you didn't earn a title shot. You survived one. In Hammerstone, he legitimately got hurt. So the match got delayed. Again, just like that, the dream scenario turned into a nightmare of what ifs. Would the match even happen? Would Hammerstone recover in time? Did MLW just lose their shot at the greatest title run they've ever built? But here's how you know this feud was magic. It never lost the momentum. When Hammerstone was out, the story kept moving. The pressure kept building. Fatu stayed the champ, stayed undefeated, stayed violent. Meanwhile, Hammerstone was rebuilding, rehabbing, reloading. He didn't fall off because when Hammerstone returned, the promos got darker, the training clips got heavier, the dynasty attitude was gone. This was a different man now. Fightland, October 2nd, 2021, Philly. This may be the biggest match in MLW history. The crowd in Philly wasn't just watching a wrestling show. They were watching a fight for the throne. The second the bell rang, it was violence. Pure, heavy, gritty violence. Fatu came out swinging. Headbutts, flying dives, just straight aggression. The kind of offense that doesn't just hurt, it haunts. It was clear from the jump. Fatu is here to end the Golden Boy's dreams permanently. But Hammerstone, he would not stay down. No matter how many times Fatu leveled him, no matter how brutal the moonsaults were, no matter how deep the beatdown got, Hammerstone kept getting up. His chest was red with welts, his eyes were dazed, but his body was still moving. And for the first time in Fatu's entire reign, Jacob Fatu was shook. Not scared, not weak, but confused, like, why won't this man just die? Watching this, you knew something special was happening. And when Hammerstone finally landed the nightmare pendulum, baby, the roof came off. 1, 2, 3. It was over. Jacob Fatu's reign of terror was done. The werewolf has been slain. You could see it in Hammerstone's face. The exhaustion, the disbelief, the tears behind the eyes. Because this wasn't just a match. It was a war, a passing of the torch. And as Hammerstone stood there, 2 titles on his shoulders, soaked in blood, sweat, and redemption, MLW felt reborn. And here's the thing nobody talks about. Even in defeat, Jacob Fatu still looked dangerous. Still larger than life. Because that's the power of a real reign. You don't have to win the last battle to prove you own the war. So there you have it. There are title reigns, and then there are moments in wrestling history that shift the ground beneath your feet. Jacob Fatu's 819-day reign wasn't just long, it was legendary. Talk about somebody's aura. For almost 3 years, MLW belonged to one man. And no matter where he goes from here, Jacob Fatu is a champion. All right, y'all. Go ahead, like the video, leave your thoughts in the comments, hit that subscribe button. And as always, I'm Gorgeous Mara, and I'm too cute to tap out.